Welcome to episode 107 of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name's Trent, as always joined by Jason. This week we've got some Superjoint action.
Yes, we do. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we've got Steven Taylor, the bassist of Superjoint. For those of you who are not aware, that's formerly Superjoint Ritual. They dropped the Ritual, now just Superjoint. That, of course, features Phil Anselmo, Jimmy Bauer. You know, what more can you say with that?
Yeah, I mean, you've got Pantera, Down, COC, I Hate God type kind of shit. Crowbar coming right at you.
Yeah, and Steven Taylor's been a part of this since their return, basically, about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we get into a lot of stuff with him here in a bit. He's also in Phil's solo band, which is Philip Anselmo and the Illegals.
Yes.
And we talk about that quite a bit as well.
Yeah, it was an honor, and it was a good conversation.
Yeah, we saw him in Arkansas with this tour that Superjoint's got going on with Battlecross and Child Bite. We're going to talk all about that here in a bit. But first things first, this is our first episode that is airing on 102.7 WSNR Internet Radio.
Yes, that's a pretty awesome little coup for us, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, very glad to be a part of this family. They play music and podcasts 24/7. I listened to it all day yesterday. Heard everything from Avenged Sevenfold to Leonard Skinner. So you can't really go wrong there.
That's how you want it. You want the spectrums and the variety.
Yeah, so check them out. Listen to their music. Then at nights, they've got some podcasts. We're going to be on every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Central here in our part of the country. So tune in. Speaking of tune in, you can find them on TuneIn. Or you can just go straight to the website, which is 1027WSNR.com. There's an app you can download that features, tons of stations, but this is, of course, the one we want you to listen to.
That's right, the one we're on.
Yeah, so if this is your first time listening and you're listening through WSNR, we appreciate it big time. We've got 106 previous episodes. All of them are housed on SoundCloud.com/Thunder-Underground. Everything from Megadeth to Soil to Sons of Texas, Battlecross, Death Angel. The list goes on. We'll rattle those off here for you in a bit, but find us at thethunderunderground.com or on Facebook, YouTube, all the typical stuff.
That's right.
Well, first things first is this weekend, if you're listening to this when we first dropped this here on Wednesday, this weekend is the first edition of Holata Fest. We've got 2 of them going this February 4th, this Saturday, and then next Saturday, February 11th. And both days have excellent lineups. And this whole thing is, of course, to benefit John Holata's family, because John Holata unfortunately passed away. If you're not familiar with him, he's the guitarist for Screaming Red Mutiny and the Joint Effect, based here out of Tulsa. And he was not only highly respected, but a highly loved musician, and you can see that by all the stuff that's coming through for this event.
Yeah,
they've doing a silent auction as well, and there's already been stuff donated from the likes of Slash, Drowning Pool, Crowbar, Hinder. I saw a couple others, can't remember off the top of my head, but that's pretty hefty names right there to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they've gotten so much love from different artists and and there's such a response. I mean, this show's going to be off the chain and really going to give John a good tribute for sure.
Yeah, and there's tons of bands out there. This first day features Grind, Chuck Cooley, Garrett Heck, Sovereign Dame, Enslaved by Fear, Forever in Disgust, Fist of Rage, Driver, Machine in the Mountain, Severmind, Screaming Red Mutiny, and the Revolutioners.
Yeah, I mean, it's a who's who of Tulsa metal. It's going to be great. Yeah,
this thing starts, I think the doors open at 1, I read maybe, and the show starts around 2, but yeah. I mean, get out there for as much of it if you can. If you can only do part of it, that's great too. But like you said, this is a who's who of bands from around this area, and they're all excellent. Half those bands I just named have been on our podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, the next week features, let's see who we got. We got Steam Shovel and Open Approach, Social Genocide, Old Man, Oklahombres, Custom Black, The Joint Effect, which is obviously going to be a tribute version of the Joint Effect.
Yeah, definitely.
Stanley's Revenge, Not in Public, Guitar Dave, Gunner and Sebastian, and Alter Blood. So, I mean, That's 24 bands right there that I just listed off.
That's right.
And you're talking $10 each time. all the proceeds, of course, go to Casey Holata, to help with her medical expenses and the expenses they had from John and everything. So just get out there if you can. If you can't, there's also a page set up where you can donate. Even if you can just come out for a little bit, you don't have to donate. Your $10 is going to go help her right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great cause. This was a terrible thing that happened, and we're just trying to help out John's family. Like Trent said, there's a link to donate. There's T-shirts and hoodies you can buy, anything that will help this cause out.
Yeah, it's true. They've got special Holata Fest T-shirts they made up. Yeah, so definitely get out there.
I got mine. Did you get yours?
I have not. I didn't have it shipped, which I should have. I actually got a zip-up hoodie, so I'll pick that up this weekend.
Hell yes. Because we're going to be out there.
Yeah, definitely. And I know this thing, there's like Lynn Hernandez from KMOD, Turbo from The Cat. Those are both, big Oklahoma rock stations, and they're both well-known DJs around this area. They're going to be out there, hosting this thing, and of course, just being a part of it. Because everybody that is a part of rock music in Oklahoma for sure knew who John Holata was, because the two bands that I mentioned, Joint Effect and Screaming Red Mutiny, were extremely popular.
Yeah.
For good reason, because he was phenomenal at what he did.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of big lineups, we need to mention that DMG Productions announced their lineup for the GA ROK Stage at Rocklahoma.
Yes.
And this is the second year they did it. Last year was their first time doing it. They have it set up in the general mission area, the campgrounds at Rocklahoma. And they run this thing from 9 a.m. to right before doors open at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a cool setup, a cool idea. Chris Taylor of DMG and some others, I think, got together and thought this out, because there's music basically going from 3 p.m. till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So they figured, well, why not just fill the gap in between there? Give people a couple hours of sleep after they're done partying, and then get up at 9 a.m. and just have music nonstop.
It's a great idea. I mean, it's Rocklahoma. We're not really going to sleep that much anyways.
Right.
I mean, let's just get honest with ourselves. And this is just a great way to just keep it going even more. And we've got a great lineup this year.
Yeah, look at this. It starts 9 a.m. Friday morning with Agents of Chaos.
Yeah.
And we played these guys before, and they're heavy as hell. Like, you wake up at 9 a.m. to these guys. I mean, you go over there at 9 a.m., you're going to be woke the fuck up. You won't need coffee.
Yeah.
I can promise you that.
Fuck coffee.
Right. Fuck coffee. You got Agents of Chaos. It's like a triple shot of espresso to your fucking face. There you go. That's all I can say. And we actually met Jason Austin.
Yes, we sure did.
Agents of Chaos for the first time in person out there at the show we're going to talk about here in a bit. Then we've got Scorned, who we've had Cody on this podcast before. Then there's going to be a wet t-shirt contest.
Which I know you're going to want to enter, Trent.
Yes, I will win this thing. Then there's going to be a wedding. How cool is that? I know you're not a big fan of weddings or marriage yourself, but if you could get married, Rocklahoma would be a cool as hell place to do it.
I guess so. If I ever do decide to make that goddamn mistake ever again, I will save it for Rocklahoma.
Yeah. Well, after that, Forever and Disgust, Kyle Williams band.
Yes.
That's the first Kyle Williams band that's on this lineup.
That's right.
Kicking ass as Shadows Collapse, and then The Devil You Adore finishes out Friday. We've spoke about them many times on our podcast. They're friends of ours now, I can say. I sound like Eddie Trunk.
Yeah. No, you haven't said it 9 times in a row.
I'll say it a few more times throughout this episode.
If he hears that, though, we're fucked.
Eddie Trunk has been on this podcast before.
Yes. Go look that up. He has been on this for 7 minutes, but he was here.
There you go. Then on Saturday, we kicked this off Saturday morning with Forsaken Few, and that's another band that we actually saw live.
With
probably,
Soil?
Yeah, well over a year ago.
Yeah.
When we did the podcast.
Yeah, they were great. I remember they really stuck out, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a podcast with Tim and Ryan from Soil. We went to Joplin for it, and Forsaken Few was opening up. And I remember both of us just really, really dug them, and we talked to them online after that. And it's another band we'd love to get on here in the future at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure you'll hear some of their music here in the coming weeks as well, because we're probably going to try to play some of these bands throughout the coming months to get ready for this thing.
There you go.
Then, of course, we've got Crane Technique, who we have championed on countless occasions because, well, they're badass.
Yeah.
Heavy metal at its finest. They're also from Joplin. Then we've got Smoke Offering, who's the second Kyle Williams band.
That's right.
A little bit different from Forever and Disgust. They got more of a, sludge metal vibe to them, I guess, if you could say.
I would say so.
Then we've got Caliber Theory. And then Saturday rounds out with Red Devil Lies out of Arkansas.
Nice.
You're going to hear more about that band here in just a bit.
In just a few minutes.
Yeah. Sunday, we've got Outside the Living. And we've got Vague Vendetta out of Arkansas. We've talked to them a few times as well. Seen them live. They're great. Razor Fate. I'm looking forward to that. Been talking to Sean Fate, who's a member of that band for quite a while. And he's a good guy. Looking forward to seeing that. Saul and Panic Device. And then it's rounded out, the final slot on Sunday, by the Battle of Bands winner from Life Fest.
Okay.
So that's cool if you're, I don't know what the status or where the stages is on that, but I mean, if you look into Life Fest, if you're a band and you want to be considered, there you go. There's a chance to, because I mean, that's a great slot, 2 p.m. That's right before the doors open. There's going to be people milling around out there. It's
going to be fantastical.
Yeah.
And, during those 3 days, we'll be out there somewhere, handing out ibuprofen, because it's kind of early. But, we'll do a service to our fellow campers.
Okay. So we're going to have ibuprofen with a Thunder Underground logo on it. So you can choose to either take it and feel better or save it as a souvenir.
That's right. Either way, it's going to be good.
Well, once again, this is put on by DMG Productions. Their Camp Darkside is the name of their camp area. Darkside Management Group is what DMG stands for, by the way. They're going to be in GA ROK 24, and it's the first 10 spots, so you can't miss them. I believe their stage is going to be covered this year as well.
Oh, nice.
So that's even better for the bands.
Super awesome, yeah.
I don't know if where the fan stand is going to be covered.
Yeah.
But whether or not, it doesn't matter. It's Rocklahoma. You're out there to party and have a good time.
That's right.
And what better way to do it than listen to music from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. the next day? Well, I mentioned Red Devil Lies is playing Saturday on that stage. So I think it's time we should play some music.
Yeah, let's get into it.
This is Red Devil Lies out of Little Rock, Arkansas. I like that the word Southern's in that title because I can say these guys have a great groove metal sound, but there's that slight Southern tinge to what they've got going on.
Yeah.
It's really cool through, not just this song, but all their music. I've been listening to that EP they have on Spotify from 2014. We actually listened to that on the way to Battlecross and Superjoint.
Yeah.
And I've listened to it several times since. Then they've got a new EP out now that's on Reverb Nation, as well as you can buy the music there, and they've got physical CDs you can hit them up for. And this is on the new one, of course. But I mean, just the riffs, are memorable throughout this. His voice is phenomenal. It goes in several different places. You hear when he's screaming, it's got Philip Anselmo, tinges to it. When he's singing slower, you can hear a little bit of Corey Taylor in there. And then somewhere in between it all, I hear a lot of our friend Adam Jode in there as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Scattered Hamlet.
The vocals just, this band, the vocals stood out to me straight away. And just the riffs and just the way they, the energy, it's just like a 2x4 to the fucking face.
Yeah.
I mean, it just right out of the gate. And this song especially, that was one, my ears really, perked up, like my fucking basset hound when he hears something. I mean, just, and that's when I knew, okay, this is the one we're going to play. I mean, this one just, like I said, smack to the face in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that their riffs always smack you in the face, like you said, and then they've got a lot of their songs, either start a little slower or go into a slower, more, kind of sludgy Southern kind of feel, but then kick right back up into that groove metal, old school Pantera kind of feel at times,
It's going to be good live.
Yeah. Yeah,
Tell
definitely.
You that much.
Definitely looking forward to hearing it because, I mean, they don't have a song that I don't like.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
These guys are one not to be missed. You can check them out, like I said, on Reverb Nation. You can buy their stuff stream it on there, check it out. Get on Facebook, follow them as well. Red Devil Lies.
Buy their stuff. Turn it all the way up.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned earlier, we went to Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yes, we did.
Made the drive over there to check out Superjoint, Battlecross, and Child Bite. This thing actually was kicked off by an area band. I don't know if they're from Fayetteville, but I know they're from the Arkansas area, called Barron.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good, had a great metal vibe to them. And one thing that I thought was really, really cool that jumped out at me was that you go to many shows where there's a local or an independent opener on the bill, and usually, the bands after will mention, thanks to the opening act, or thanks to whoever, and half the time I don't even remember what they're called, just thanks to the other bands, But Sean from Child Bite, literally mentioned the name Barron 6 times.
Yes.
And then Gumby from Battlecross mentioned it a couple times.
That's awesome.
And then Phil mentioned it. Every one of them mentioned him by name and multiple times. And I thought, that's a sign of respect, not only that, all 3 of those frontmen are good dudes, they're going to call out a band anyway, but there's no reason to have to do it more than once.
Yeah. Well, it's, these are real dudes, professional, and, they know how it is coming up, and, they're all in the grind. So, just they showing respect. It's great.
Yeah. Well, first things first, if you don't know what Child Bite is, as soon as you stop listening to this, go search them on YouTube or Spotify and hit play.
Immediately. I wouldn't even be offended if you hit pause right now,
right,
went and checked them out, and then came back. They're that fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always great when it's hard to describe something, but they've got that real old school, Dead Kennedys vibe, but it's almost if you mixed it with something like System of a Down, which that sounds like a horrible combination. That shouldn't go together at all, but it's somehow it's you mix all these weird, the weird stuff from something like System of a Down, and then you crank it up heavier, and then you throw in that whole, that Dead Kennedys vibe, or Black Flag or something.
Did you just mention Child Bite in the same sentence as System of a Down? I don't know if I can do this with you anymore, Trent.
Well, that I'm a fan of System of a Down. It's not some kind of breaking news here or something.
Oh my God, I'm looking at everything new now. I don't know what to do. Anyways, just kidding. I love you. I had to give you a hard time. But no, it's like you said, a Black Flag-ish Dead Kennedys. I kind of got that with mixed with Clutch for some reason. Oh, it's because you said he's like Clutch. Yeah, exactly. What'd you say?
The singer of this band, Sean, is like Neil Fallon's evil twin brother.
Yes, that's right.
It's and I don't say that vocal-wise, more of his
kind of just like a persona kind of thing.
His personality, his stage presence, the way he moves, the way he holds his hands up.
Yeah.
In the same fashion that Neil Fallon's always moving, always pointing, always putting that hand up. He was doing the same thing, but it's if Neil Fallon went insane. And that's
exactly.
in a good way.
Exactly, yeah.
Because Neil Fallon's one of the best there is.
Yeah, and Child Bite was so good. They're just visceral and raw, and it was just, they weren't doing anything, they weren't putting on anything. It was just fucking great.
Yeah, just 3 dudes just going nuts on stage, loving the music.
Yep.
And it's great because it's not standard. It wasn't just some metal band up there just going through the paint by numbers metal. This was something that stands out.
Yeah. It was 4 dudes.
Oh, was okay. You're right. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's right.
Okay. That's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Well, next up is Battlecross. And if you're not familiar with Battlecross, I'm sad for you.
Oh, man. At this point, there's not, I can't, this is one of the best out there. If you like modern day thrash mixed with some death metal, this is it. This is the premiere, just hardworking. Just stellar all the way.
Yeah, we've endlessly championed these guys.
Oh, yeah, endlessly.
Because, well before we started this pod, since, I got, they came on our radio, or on our radar right whenever Push, Pull, Destroy came out.
Yeah.
I think you or Justin maybe sent that video over and said, you got to watch this.
It was Justin. Yeah.
And it just
And from then on,
knocked me on my ass. And
Yep.
then, yeah, like all 3 albums are great. Can't wait for the 4th one. And they're just a band that, even though these albums are great, you have to see them live.
yeah,
Because, I mean, you can't go to a Battlecross performance and not just be like in great spirits if you love heavy metal.
that's right.
These guys, it's like literally like if the show you just saw was the last show they ever played, it would be a fitting farewell.
That's right.
Because every damn show they put on a performance like, this is the last time we get to walk on stage, so lay it all the fuck out here.
Yeah.
All 5 of them do that.
It's epic, and it's, they're just, I mean, every guy is just talented as hell, and they make it look so easy.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you can also go into the fact that they're a band of the people. They really are,
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, if you want to meet them, you're going to meet them in every show.
Yeah.
Even if there's a backstage area, there's always one of them handling merch, and then the other ones always come out there and hang out.
That's right.
And, they're just always interacting with the fans and everything. And we've had Gumby on here twice, and we had Tony Asta, one of the 2 guitarists, on here recently, just a few weeks ago, actually. Go back and check out all 3 of those episodes. We can't say it enough, how big of fans we are of these guys' music.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just, they're raging. They're putting it out there as hard as they can. And, they're just, paying their dues in a van and just, trying to do everything right. If you go to a show, if you see them out there, go get them, go Dollar General, get them a few bags of Doritos, go get them a 30-pack of PBR or a case of water. They'll take it. They deserve it,
Yeah, without a doubt. You do that for any band you love that's like,
exactly,
at this level, you can't say you don't feel like, like they're going to think you're stupid or something. These guys will freaking be happy as hell because
they need it.
Every bit of money they're making is going to pay for themselves a tour for the most part.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Battlecross. Go get all 3 albums. Go see them live. The word regret will never show up in your vocabulary.
Exactly.
Well, Superjoint, what can you say? We hadn't seen them live since, when was that, 2002 or 3?
I think it was 2004 Ozfest in Kansas City.
That's right, yeah.
And
the one with Priest and all that.
Yeah, this was such a way better experience and better representation of this band and where they're at now. I mean, I wouldn't take anything away from when we saw them back then, but this is where it was at. It really was.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I always thought of Superjoint just kind of as Phil's side project way back then, even though it had Jimmy Bower in it, and Hank 3 and whoever. But but now when you see it, obviously not just because, Pantera was gone at that point, but, you think of Down as being his focus. But when you see this, it feels like this is a band that is cohesive as hell. This is what they're doing. Their live shows on point, These 5 guys gel well together. Jimmy Bower is one of the most underrated guys in metal. He's one of the godfathers of like the New Orleans sludge with Kirk Windstein.
Yeah, and I mean, he's right up there doing it.
And he's just like Phil, he's got tons of different projects going on. And a lot of times when guys have tons of different projects going on, you've just got a bunch of okay projects. But these guys put it all into everything, so you've got several great projects.
Exactly.
And, you can't say enough for that. And this, Jimmy Bower does it on guitar and Superjoint and I Hate God, then on the drums and Down.
Mm-hmm.
Which just makes it even that much cooler.
Yeah.
And then we've got guys like Steven Taylor who have this great story of where he came from. You're going to hear about here in a bit.
Yeah,
and where he's at now, working with Superjoint and Phil in a solo project. And, of course, he talks about another project they're working on later in this interview as well that is going to be really cool to hear.
Yeah, I mean, he got out of it for a while, and then he decided to get back into it, and, this is what happens when he got back into it. It's a pretty cool little story there.
Yeah. And, Superjoint is fun, just like any live band that features Phil Anselmo, because you get great music, but then you get great Phil, whatever the word is. Philisms throughout between every song, and,
Exactly.
He sang, during the middle of it to Battlecross, and then what did he do? He stole Kevin Graham's shirt.
Yes, our buddy Kevin Graham stole a shirt.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's a great story in itself.
Oh,
I guess Kevin, it wasn't even a regular shirt. It was an actual Superjoint shirt that he bought and gave him to try to sign. And I think Phil thought that he was giving him a shirt like a lot of people do, So he just walked off with it.
Yes. That's great.
Yeah. That's a great story, but not great for Kevin.
I know. Hopefully he'll get that. He'll get another shirt or something.
Yeah.
But,
and make some asshole noise, but
I forgot about that. Make some asshole noise. Philism.
Right.
Really. But I also kind of want to mention, this album, Caught Up in the Gears of Application, is great. I think it's, a more, realized version of what this band always could have been, and, it just, more together, like you said earlier, cohesive, songs. This is just, it's way more of a unit now, and it's, it doesn't seem as scattered.
Yeah.
And, the album's really cool to listen to.
Yeah, and if for some reason you've never listened to Superjoint, they're kind of, how would you say it? They kind of sit somewhere between punk, thrash, and metal.
Yeah, they really do.
They got, intricacies of all three of them, and a lot of their songs are short in that kind of punk rock fashion.
Yeah.
Which I know you're a big fan of. We talked about that many times. So, just like I said about Battlecross, Child Bite, and Red Devil Eyes, and everybody else, check out some Superjoint if you haven't.
Exactly.
Let's give you a reason to check out some Superjoint. You ready?
Yes, let's get into it.
Yeah, this here's Steven Taylor, bassist of Superjoint. Most of the time.
What, the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah, it changes about a moment over there, man.
Yeah.
It's hot, cold, all 1 week, raining, dry.
Cool. I know Superjoint obviously got back together for that Hellfest performance, and I'd read it was supposed to be a one-off deal. So what was the catalyst for bringing this back?
I don't know. I guess it was, so we had a good time, and it all gelled pretty easily, and everybody just started throwing riffs around, and why not?
Yeah, there you go.
And it's still just as fresh right now as it was 2 years ago when we did that. So
yeah. What would you? I know. Did you guys do other shows after that before you did the album, or was it after Hellfest?
We did a Hellfest. We did a run with Danzig, and we did a run with on our own right before that. So we did a couple things after that Horror Fest. That initial get together last year, and then we didn't really do anything in 2016, but just sat back and wrote a whole shit pile of music, man. So,
so you got a lot of extra stuff that didn't end up on the album.
Another Superjoint record?
Yeah, well, I mean, did you have a lot of extra stuff that didn't make the album enough for like another album?
I think there's a few riffs that got, on the cutting room floor that maybe we could revisit. But everybody's good at coming up with new stuff, so, it wouldn't be hard to just get back in there and start writing again, you know? We just, over the last year, we just been writing for, the various projects that we're all involved in, so that pretty much occupied a bunch of time, and we got pretty creative last year in 2016, man. Yeah. Even though it was a pretty shit year for all kind of other things, but for us to get in there and just woodshed and just kind of be reclusive and just start knocking stuff out, in the studios.
Yeah,
pretty much what happened last year. So
nice.
And hopefully this next year coming up, it'll get all sprinkled on out there.
Yeah. Nice.
When you say writing, like, did you guys do it together in the studio, or did you guys kind of do it on your own and bring it together?
We just brought different ideas in the studio for the different projects we're all in. Illegals, and we have some other stuff brewing with Jimmy and Kevin, and not really Superjoint per se, but just a bunch of other music, But I don't see us having any problem getting in there and writing more Superjoint at all,
Right. Well, going back, I know you're in the Illegals as well, so how'd you end up hooking up with Phil becoming a part of working with them?
Originally, but with the Illegals?
Yeah.
Through Marzi Montezeri, the guitar player. Me and him were jamming prior to him getting a call to come out and do the record. And I kind of came in on the tail end of that and, just pretty much was an instant brotherhood with everybody, man. And, just kind of slid right on into position.
Yeah. Yeah, we're from Tulsa, and that was a show that the little kid came out and played.
Oh yeah. That was awesome, man.
That little kid, he did pretty good, man.
Yeah, little Peyton, man.
Yeah,
rest in peace.
Yeah,
what a great little kid. Him and his little buddy got up there, and I was like, "Man, you need anything?" It's like, "No, I got this," and pretty much pushed me out the way. It's like, boom,
because he looked so natural.
Yeah, he just went out and just started ripping. I was like, "All right, man, y'all have this," And really impressive, man, and what a great spirit that little guy was.
Yeah.
I only met him at that show, and we communicated a couple times on Facebook or whatnot, and what a great little spirit that guy was, man.
Yeah, that was cool. Y'all give him that moment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, standing there watching that, you always think someone's going to play Dimebaggers or something that doesn't always come off right, but it's just so impressive how someone that age especially did it, and it sounded so natural and real,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can barely do it now. I couldn't do it when I was 11.
Oh yeah, man. That was pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the bands on this tour with you, like Battlecross and Child Bite. I've been a huge fan of Battlecross since I started, but I just kind of discovered Child Bite after I found out they were on this tour.
Really? I'm the direct opposite. I know about Child Bite for a few years now, and man, those guys are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And I just recently, been privy to the Battlecross guys, and I just got to catch their show for the first time the other night. Awesome bunch of guys, man. They were tearing it up every night, and all positive things, man. The shows have been going really killer so far. We're on number 5 here, and all of them have been kick ass so far. So.
Yeah. Battlecross, they always bring it. Yeah, we love those guys.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, man.
Well, I know you guys got another leg planned after this. Is Superjoint gonna keep going through 2017, or probably take a break since everybody's got stuff going on?
No, I think we I don't know any details yet, but I think it's for somewhere around right before the summer, I guess. I guess I heard we're going to the west this time, so be looking forward to that. Around April, I think.
Yeah. Nice.
Keep an eye out for that. Details are still being worked out on and whatnot.
Yeah. Right.
We'll talk about before the Illegals and just anything. How'd you get going in bass, and who's kind of your
actually
stuff?
This is the first. The Illegals was the first band I ever played bass for.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean I've always been a guitar player. Never really tried to play bass, And when Marzi got the call to come down and do the record, I was excited for him, and I was like, man, if you want to borrow any of my gear or anything, because we were jamming prior to that on another project, and so I kind of went down and helped him out a little bit, and right then and there I was like, man, if you need somebody to fill in on bass or guitar or rhythm guitar until you guys find the combination you're looking for or whatever, man, just let me know. Well, it took a little while for me to get that call to come in, but once I did, I just fucking went after it, and just not looking back from there.
I couldn't say no.
But so I started off on bass in the Illegals, and I don't know, some bass players would probably look at me like I'm an idiot, because I just play like a guitar.
Yeah.
I guess it's okay for the Illegals because it's, the first record's kind of bouncing around and, a lot of bouncy kind of jerky parts, but this next record is pretty just, all straightforward, grinding out. And I actually go back, I'm on guitar on this next record, and we got a new bass player to play on this one. So we're doing 2 guitars, and, we got a new bass player on the next Illegals.
Cool.
So, I just had to dive into the bass position and go for it, and it was a pretty easy thing to kind of do, I guess, But I didn't even really think about it. But I did have a lot of big shoes to fill in the Illegals because we ended up playing a bunch of Pantera songs on that tour, on those few tours that we did. And I was actually just thinking about this the other day. I was like, I don't think anybody else has played this many Pantera songs post Pantera with Philip, like on any kind of tour or anything, Because I know Downer, nobody does anything like that, and we had maybe 5, 6, 7 Pantera songs we were doing it from time to time, So
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a special little thing we had going, and I'm not sure we'll be doing that again with this lineup. Maybe, maybe I don't know.
Did you guys do just like the kind of the bigger Pantera songs, or did you bring out some rare ones?
Well, of course, my choice was Hellbound. Death Rattle. That was one of my favorite ones to do, and Hellbound too, because they're more like punk rock style.
Yeah.
It wasn't too much to think about. Just fucking just go for it. So those were my choices, and the other ones were we just pick and choose as we went on with what we felt capable of pulling off. So
cool.
But yeah, that was great, man. I look back on some of those shows, and I was like, wow. You don't think about it at the time. You just execute, and to go back and revisit it, a couple years later, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
What did you do guitar wise prior to the Illegals?
Well, the most famous thing I did was a band called 16 Horsepower from Denver, Colorado, in the mid '90s. They were a real hard band to kind of pigeonhole into any kind of genre or any kind of classification. A kind of an underground kind of dark gothic western band is the only way I can put it. We do a lot of upright bass, bowing, accordion, banjos, and I played a lot of slide guitar. So it was a lot of open tuning, but open minor tuning, so everything was real minor and had a real dreary, old-timey kind of feel to it, but still, I don't want to say mine, kind of like Gun Club was like a big influence. Gun Club, Birthday Party, Bad Seed, stuff like that. So I played guitar in that band and a lot of slide work, and then from that band kind of dispersed. Me and the singer broke off and started Woven Hand together. I don't know if you ever heard of that band. Kind of almost the same kind of style because same people writing, but a slightly different direction. So that's one to look in. I played on Story and Pictures, the first record that we started that band with, and after that, man, I took a hiatus for about 10 years.
Wow.
Because, all those touring from the 90s and everything, I lived like a gypsy for like 20 years, and then I woke up, I was like, I don't have shit to show for this, so I need to get to work. So I started working and, developed a company and stuff like that. And then, and somehow I'm here doing it again, man, so I don't know too many people that get another chance to do shit like this at this level, So I feel really blessed and, happy and grateful. Man, honored to be here doing this shit, and to be involved in the Illegals, and then to be involved in Superjoint, and then now to be involved with, I'm in a project called Metroton and Gongo with Philip, which is like the fucking heaviest death metal, black metal. I don't even know what the fuck you want to call it. Heaviest shit you want to hear. And then we have this mellow project now that we're, doing, and actually we just compiled like probably 35 songs in the last 3 or 4 months of tail end of this year, so just creativity just flowing out of every pore, man, and
that's
awesome. Trying to squeeze it out of every player as much as we can, and getting it documented before the old clock stops ticking.
Yeah, definitely. This mellow project, is it acoustic or is it just kind of clean?
It's kind of, speaking of 16 Horsepower and Woven Hand, I'm kind of drawn back from my past with that because I did a lot of open minor tunings, and that's what I bring into this. But we're mixing a whole lot of shit up: acoustic guitars, electric guitars, keyboards, we're just throwing the whole shebang in there, man, and just mixing it up. And it's every song is just to me, it's epic in its own way, man. Every one is just an epic piece of music, and people gonna trip out, man. When they hear it.
I can appreciate the open tuning stuff because I try to do it, and I mean, if it's not E or drop down, my brain shuts down. So that's really cool that you can do that.
Well,
I've always been kind of intrigued, you know.
I just found out the tuning I use is what supposedly Keith Richards has been using forever. I had no idea, you know, and what it really is a banjo tuning, I think.
Okay.
I use it's just an open minor tuning. I believe it's just a banjo. It's not dadgad or anything, you know. So I think it's just a basic banjo tune. You know, they call it the junkie tuning or whatever. It's so fucking easy.
Yeah.
But for me, if I'm in standard tuning and I get stuck, like I can't come up with any riffs in standard tuning, I could easily switch to open tuning and I can go major, minor, and I'm in like 3 different worlds like that, you know, and you know, capo 3rd fret, capo 5th, capo around. You got a whole nother thing going on. So it's like when I'm stuck on something, I'll just switch the string arrangement up.
Yeah,
you know, fuck up the fretboard, and then now I got to think differently, you know. So it always kind of keeps me fresh on ideas and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I dig that.
Who else is involved in that project?
It's me, Philip. Jimmy's playing drums on a lot of it. Kevin's involved.
So it's basically Superjoint doing mellow.
Basically. Yeah, but you know, we're just drawing whoever's great, you know, best suited for the part, you know, at the time. And Kevin's multi. You know, nobody's just thinking metal. You know what I mean? Everybody's got different things going on, you know, and that's what keeps music fresh, man. You know, I can't think just one way. You know, I gotta do a whole bunch of other shit, you know, just to keep me satisfied, or I'll just go bananas. You know,
that's the best way to be there. You know.
Do you still, I mean, work in your off time? You said you started a business.
Yeah, unfortunately, I still got to work in my off time, man. You know, I started a little construction business, and you know, really blessed and thankful on that side too, because I have, you know, friends and family that are willing to go out and, you know, cover for me while I'm out here doing this. So you know, it helps out a lot, and you know, we can't survive on selling records anymore. You just got to do other shit, you know.
Yeah. So did that make it easier? You know, you got a good support system. That make it easier for you to come back into this, and you know.
Yeah, actually, you know, it did. Real supportive wife and, you know, family, and you know, really, again, you know, blessed on that side too, that I'm able to come out and do this, and they can hold a fort down at the house while I'm going.
Hell yeah.
You know, but it ain't too bad. We don't go out for too long, you know, probably no more than a month at a time usually. You know, I think the longest we did was Danzig, and that tour was like 6 weeks, so that was about the longest we've done in the last few years. So, you know, no extensive like 3-month runs or anything going on right now. So that's kind of cool. You know.
What was that like the first time you stepped back on stage after a decade? Did it just feel natural, like you never left?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, since then I did a few reunion shows with some bands. It's not like it was just like getting back on the bicycle, man. Yeah. Because I don't give a shit, dude. I've always been punk rock anyway. I had a hardcore band. Before the 16 horsepower thing, I was in a band called Spunk, and it was like Houston's biggest hardcore punk rock band. And, you know, I moved from New Orleans to Houston in the early 90s, and I couldn't get a band formed in New Orleans for some reason. You know, I knew Jimmy and all them back in the time, but we weren't really musically friends, you know. We were pretty much passing through at the bar each other saying, hey, whatever, you know. But as soon as I moved to Houston, within a week, I was in this band, and I was touring the United States constantly. Back then, it was like we used to book out of the God, what was it? The Maximum Rock and Roll Tour Guide. Sean, yes, what was the Rollins book back in the day with all the venues? Was it the Maximum Rock and Roll Tour Guide?
I mean, you had Get in the Van. That book, I don't know. Was that later?
It might have been later. I'm thinking Laura.
I'm sorry I couldn't help you out there. I filmed it, Steven. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I think it was. That's what I think it was. Anyway, we'd book our shows out of this freaking magazine that had a list of all the clubs around the United States, and we just went out there hardcore and just gas money, staying in people's houses, playing basement shows, whatever, man. And when I said I lived like a gypsy for 20 years, that was like a good 7 years of it, just being out, just cutting my teeth on the road, man, and just, for no money and just living, thinking you were living the dream of pursuing something, and that's one thing I would tell people out there playing music. If this is what you want to do, don't give up, because you never know when the door's going to open. You know what I mean? The door didn't open professionally for me. I mean, I'm telling you, I was in a van driving around hardcore style, but that's hardly professional, That was like no money every night, just doing it on your own. But the first ever band I was in that was professional was 16 horsepower, and that wasn't until I was like my late 20s, almost 30 years old. So, and here I am. I'm 50, man, next month. So you never know, dude.
Nice.
We're gonna wrap it up because of the noise, man.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah, man. I appreciate this interview, man. It was awesome, bro.
Great.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Take care. All right, man.
There you go, Stephen Taylor, bassist for Superjoint, and Philip Anselmo and the Illegals. Very cool. Very glad to have him on here. Thank you to Liz from Earsplit PR. Thank you to Kate, Superjoint's tour manager. And, of course, thank you for Stephen for taking the time, sitting down there with us before the show.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. And we even got a little small cameo from Sean from Child Bite, didn't we?
That's right.
A little, 2-second thing there.
Yeah. Yeah, he came in to get some refreshments, and while he was doing that, Stephen hit him up there, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, really looking forward to hearing that he called it a mellow project.
Yeah.
That he's doing with basically everybody in Superjoint. So I'm really looking forward to hearing that because, anytime you hear Phil sing slower stuff, he's got this great voice that doesn't get showcased as much as it should.
Yeah.
And, so I love it when you hear that in Down and stuff like that. So this will be really cool to hear, what guys that specifically from heavy stuff are going to pull off with this project.
Yeah, it should be really interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, well, once again, thanks to Stephen for the time. And like I said earlier, if this is your first time listening to us, if you're listening on 1027 WSNR, we appreciate it. Thanks again to John Sweeney and WSNR for bringing us on as part of their podcast family. Much appreciated. Once again, that's 1027WSNR.com. You can listen right there any time of the day. We're on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can also check that out on 2N and the Crikey Premium Radio app. Download that thing and listen to us every Monday night.
Do it.
You can listen to all our previous episodes on SoundCloud.com/Thunder-Underground. We've got 106 previous episodes. Most, the majority of them will have a guest, but some of them, it's just us talking and playing a song or two. We talk about whatever's going on in rock and metal. We cover everything from, hard rock, glam rock, southern rock, to heavy metal, death metal, thrash metal, punk. We go through it all because, we're fans of all this stuff.
That's right. So, why not cover it all?
Yeah. And if you're checking out these previous episodes, we've had on guys from Drowning Pool, Megadeth, Overkill, Avatar. Eddie Trunk's been on here, like we said, Corrosion and Conformity, Crowbar, The Obsessed, Nonpoint, The Sword, Warrant.
We've had Europe, Great White, Down, guys from Down, Death Angel, Sons of Texas, King with a Y.
Hell yeah.
That was a good one. Trickster, Ian Moore. We even had Shooter Jennings, guys from the Street Dogs, Battlecross, as we talked about before. We had Ryan from Miss May I, Caroline Spine, Scattered Hamlet, 3 times?
Yeah.
Yeah. Soil, Frank Cannon Band, and just all kinds of guys.
Yeah, the list goes on and on. Get on there. SoundCloud, check it out. We're also on thethunderunderground.com. You can find them all on there as well. Get on Facebook. Give us a like. Get on Twitter at THNDRUNDR Ground. Follow us there. YouTube, we're at The Thunder Underground. Subscribe to us. besides all the stuff we just mentioned, we do some, reaction videos on YouTube where we talk about, stuff as it happens. Like we did our instant reaction to the new Metallica album, after one listen. Same thing with Avenged Sevenfold's new album. We did it for a review for a Black Sabbath concert we saw, our reaction to the Rocklahoma lineup when it came out.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff, there's no schedule of that. Just when it happens, we'll do it.
That's right.
Well, you got anything else we need to talk about?
I think that wraps it up for this week.
Yeah. Once again, WSNR, thanks for listening on there. Thanks for listening if you're on SoundCloud. And until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.